aspect to the guy who drew it and the things he chose. Maybe you can fill in more things from your head with drawings than you can with a photo. Anyway, so I thought, well, I'll do that. I'm going to do a book like that, and I'll do black and pen and ink drawings, and I can pick them up and put them down and maybe do them pretty quickly, sketches. I also wanted to put writing with it because I find that a lot of people in New Orleans don't really understand where they live, and one reason for that is that the landscape is hard to access. Other places you can go hiking or walk, but here you walk very far and you're going to hit water. And there are snakes and alligators, and it's intimidating sometimes. Anyway, and so I did a day planner and I did 12 drawings. This is it. And I put irises on the cover, which is that drawing in the back there. And these are Louisiana irises up here. And the thing that is special about Louisiana irises, out of any irises in the world, is that we are the only place that has a species that has a red color. And so this is the red color. And there's variations on this red. There's some that turns sort of coppery and maybe a dusty pinkish. But in any case, it's red. Everybody else only has yellow, blue, and white, which obviously limits, when you hybridize, it limits the colors that you can produce in the flower. With Louisiana iris, you can pretty much produce every color if you hybridize them. And they will hybridize naturally in the wild, but a lot of times the hybrids will then revert back 1 or 2 generations later. But this is one of my favorite. These are ones that Tyrone, so he has a little iris project in his backyard, and this is one, this orange color I really like. So yeah, I took this picture when he had all of these in his backyards to show all the different colors you can get. And then on the left is a friend of mine, Christine, who's an artist, and she would come canoeing with me sometimes, and she's in Bayou La Branche, in the La Branche wetlands, where there used to be thousands of irises. And all of them, the big blue iris. And I just wanted to put her picture up there because she's living in Texas now. And she misses New Orleans. So anyway, the next slide. Let me show you. These are, there's Tyrone and his friend Doc, who likes to take a lot of photos of wildlife. They are standing in front of the Gigantocerelia. There are 4 or 5 species of the Louisiana iris, depending on who you talk to, at least 4 maybe 5. But this is the tallest. And as you can see, they're standing on the ground, the irises are behind them, they're close to 6 feet tall. These are taken from wild stock, which were, according to the guy who got them, 8 feet tall. But we can't get them to grow 8 feet at Longview, we just can't give them what they need. But we can get them to grow to 6 feet. So it's really, quite impressive to be walking down our iris path and you're flanked by irises that are up to here. And, in the marsh, if you can imagine an 8-foot tall plant, with these big blue flowers, and they also come in white, and you have to see where it comes in white as well. I just wanted to show you part of our natural heritage here. And the next slide. So irises do not tolerate salt or brackish water. And this is taken in 1998. And it's not a great photo, these aren't great photos, but I wanted to show you. So there you see some of the thousands of irises on our Bayou Traverse, which is right off Bayou La Branche. The next year, we had a hurricane blow in, Ivan or George or one of them, pushed a lot of salt water into the lake and into the La Branche wetlands, and that was it for the irises. They're gone. So, I guess I'm bringing that up just to kind of show you what we had and also show you what we're losing. The Louisiana irises are very easy to tell because the leaf has no Dutch iris and some of the other irises that people plant have a very definite midway. Okay, so next slide. And I did do a painting of irises, but I sold it and I never took credit. So these are a drawing I did of irises at a city park. Longview and City Park both have big iris collections. City Park didn't have theirs together this year because of all the renovation that they did. The Iris Society helped both us and City Park with the plantings. They were gorgeous this year that I drew them. They're a little tougher to maintain at City Park just because of their landscape. We have an easier time at Longview. So if you get a chance in April to come out to Longview, it's really special. You can walk down the Iris path. And they'll bloom for about 3 to 4 weeks. Just an amazing, we have over 2,000 plants of every color. This was the pen and ink that I had started with. And this drawing got kind of messed up because, as luck would have it, I started August 29th. Which I didn't realize till I read the date down. I usually read the date that I start drawings on the back. And as I'm writing it down, I'm like, oh, August 29th. And then the next day we evacuated for Gustav. So then I had to finish this later. I was looking for subjects that would tell me something about the landscape, that were also things that related to the natural heritage of New Orleans and the Southeast region. And what I had noticed was, I live in Carrollton, I drive this road, daily, and I noticed that the lichen stopped in a straight line. And I thought, well, why would they do that? And I got out and I started walking up Carrollton, and it got lower and lower. And I finally realized it was the water line from Katrina, because as I approached the river, and the water gets less because the land gets higher. And the streetcar had just started back up. Anyway, so I did this drawing to show that lichen line, the watermark from Katrina. This is at Palmer Park. When I went closer to the tree, so this was 3 years after Katrina, I realized that the lichen was recolonizing, just very slowly. It grows very slowly. Lichen grows very, very slowly. And so there's little tiny dots where the lichen moving back into that area where they had been drowned. Lichen apparently can live several thousand years, patch of lichen. They need sunlight, but not too much, because they also have moisture requirements. They get all their moisture from rainwater runoff. And so if you're on the very sunny side of the tree, it would dry out too quickly. So you can tell a little bit about which side of the tree is shadier, where the water's running and so on like that. And they're also usually indicative of at least some canopy damage in the oak, because if the oak had a full canopy, there would not be enough light coming in for the lichen. So depending on, so you can tell things about what's happened with the tree and where the water runs down off the tree and so on, just by looking at it. And then I looked even closer, and if you give me the next slide, there was a moth on the tree, which I hadn't noticed at all. It was so well camouflaged down there. So I was just fascinated by that, and I drew it. And the first two are in the book, but this one is not, because when I was trying to edit my book, I thought at first I would do 24 drawings, and then I realized I'm running out of time. I'm never going to have 24 drawings, and so I ended up with about 20, and I had to pull some out. And my husband said I had enough bark already without this one. But I always kind of miss it, because there are 3 in a series, and the only one that's up, well, I have the moth back up and the lichen line, and then I sold the, closer to the tree trunk, so I don't have that one. So I couldn't do that here. I couldn't put the 3 all together.
Did you ever do that one?